everybody, it's your girl, Charlotte Van Horn, Black Expats in Panama, by way of little old Glassville, New Jersey. You know it, right here on BLACKEXPATSINPANAMA. I am coming to you today, and I am excited because we have yet another amazing guest. And I don't have time to sit and chit chat and smile because we have Miss Paula Webster with us today. She is a Panama resident, a Black expat living here in Panama, and she has a story to tell about her and her husband ended up here in Panama and how she likes living here in Panama and what business is like here in Panama. So you know the deal. We need to go ahead and get into it, baby. So hang tight, and I am going to bring Miss Paula on the line. Hey, Miss Paula.
Well, hello there, Charlotte. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm so great to have you on the call.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. To let people know, my name is actually Paula Webster Wilson, but I go by PK Wilson, and I like to actually be called PK. So,
and PK Wilson,
you got several different names.
PK Wilson sounds so, I don't know. It sounds like an author. It sounds like an author.
It is because I am an author.
Look at it. Look at it.
Yes, I just recently published my first book of poetry. It's called Trials, Tests, and Testimonies. It's a book that took me a minute because it spans, oh my goodness, 35 years of living.
So say that again. Trials, tests,
and Testimonies by PK Wilson. Yes, I published it on Amazon. It's available on Amazon. It's also available anywhere you do get your books as well. Just put in the title and you will find it. But I wrote it as a testimony to not just my life, but to other women. And it's not just for women, I should say, it's also for men as well. It's for anyone who has gone through struggles in their life. They've gone through the tests that life has put up against them. They've had trials, whether it's faith, whether it's honesty with other people, but it's just going through your everyday life. And then the testimonies of how you get to the other side. And that's the one thing I think is we as women don't express often enough and don't celebrate, because mostly women are supposed to suffer in silence as we just do our due. And it's time for women to realize, no, we don't have to suffer in silence. We can tell people about how we feel, tell people about the good, the bad, and the ugly, but realize that there is always another day, always a time to rise, and always realize that your faith will actually get you through.
So, okay, you said it took you a little while to write that. Remind me to come back and ask you how much of that was done in Panama and why. It's so interesting because my daughter is a counselor, and I just talked to her before, we got on, and we were kind of similar talking about this. And for some people, like you say, that some women think we're supposed to suffer in silence. And I think it's kind of a combination. You have some women that feel like, we're supposed to suffer in silence. And then you have some women that feel like, especially women who are in male dominated areas in their life, they feel like they can't say out loud when they're suffering because then they're going to look weak. They're going to look like a woman. I'm too emotional. Women can't. I don't buy that. My motto is feel what you feel.
Yes. And tell people about it. And tell people about it. Because too many times in society, when women are showing their passion for something, you're termed, oh, you're emotional. Stop being so emotional. But when a man has the same type of passion for something, oh, you can see how passionate he is. I don't see the difference. I say, do it all, because that's who you are. Be your real you. And that's not easy to do these days. It's not easy to do.
Well, it's all I can do. And I'll tell you what, they either really like me or they really don't. I am not one of those persons who are lukewarm, because I have learned to be more diplomatic in expressing myself to people. Um, and I've learned to sleep on things and to pray about things before I have conversations, especially those conversations that I know could be taken the wrong way. In my maturity, I've learned how to do that. However, common that communication is going to happen. It is going to happen because for me, I guess you have some people who are like, I just couldn't do that. I just could not tell him or her that, you know. But if you walking around with it, then you're just internalizing all that. And I just feel like, for you to use a creative um avenue to
Mhm.
express and convey, some of the things that you're talking about, I think is beautiful. Um, and I also wonder how much of the book was written during your time in Panama, if any.
The interesting part is the last chapter of the book, which is called Testimonies. A
Hmm.
lot of that was written here in Panama.
Okay.
And again, like I said, this book spans probably 35 years of my life.
Wow.
Yes, because when you're young and you're dumb, and you think you know it all, and you're like, nobody's going to stop me because I know what I'm doing. God bless you. That's the way I say it. And you're going to go through life because life has a funny thing. It happens. What you may think is going to be your life may turn out to be something totally different. How do you handle that? How do you adapt with that? Can you be flexible with it? And some people can't. Some people can't handle it. But if you want to survive, you got to handle it. You've got to be able to say, this is my life. And the older you get, I think it becomes easier. Well, I know for me, it became easier to say, wait a minute, this is my life. This is what I want. And nobody else is going to give it to me unless I try to get it myself. Now, people may want to help on the way, but not everybody wants to help you get there. So that's the other thing you got to worry about as well, because people will take your shine from you. They will take it. If you give it, they will take it. And
Well,
it's like,
they have this saying now, and I swear we're going to get on this whole expat thing, but I'm loving this baby, and I'm sure that our audience is too, because it's all so relatable, But I was just talking to my daughter about, I am so proud of her.
mhm,
As a parent, I was a young parent. I had my daughter when I was 21. And
mm,
for like those first 10 years, we was growing up together. For real, for real. I just thank God, that he had his hand on her, honey, during that time because I was just young. I was inexperienced. Sometimes these kids are so judgmental of parenting, the parenting that they got. Well, we didn't have Google. We didn't have Google. We didn't have, YouTube University. We had to
internet.
go to the library and get a
Oh,
doctor. The doctor, oh God, I forget which guy was supposed to be like the great doctor baby and tell you how to raise your kids and all this stuff. But it
Dr.
was
Spock.
one guy, right? But I feel that I tell them, I'm so glad you turned out okay. Um, but also I'm so glad that she learned how to be self-sufficient and an adult under me and my husband's teachings because you got life be lifing, they call it nowadays. And I love that term. And you
Yes.
just got to know how to do it. You have to know how to get through those mountains and valleys that you talk about, and people think that it's okay to coddle your children when they're adults. I don't agree with that.
No. Oh my God, Lord, no.
You need to be able to take care of yourself because guess what? At some point, I'm probably going to leave before you. And
Yeah.
I do not want to leave you not knowing how to handle your life.
Yes.
You
That
know,
is, that's the antithesis of what I see today. Because, when we grew up, we were told you can be seen but not heard.
mhm,
We were told you respect your elders, you do what you're told. This is
mhm.
how you live your life. And then somehow for a lot of people, a lot of women, even a lot of men in our generation decided, well, I think my children should have a voice. And I'm like, why? What do they do that makes them so unique that they need to have a say in something? And even my children would tell you today, when we used to go to the store, they go, oh, mommy, I want this. Oh, mommy, I want that. And I'd say, that's nice. Do you have a job? They're like, no. Do you have any money? No. Are you contributing to the overall economic welfare of my house? No. Then no, you don't get it. Can you vote? Are you 18? If every answer is no, then no, you're not getting it. Yeah. And that's how they learn. Oh, wow. If I want something, yeah, you better learn how to get it on your own. Because you may not get it from me.
And you cannot depend on your parents. You cannot depend on your parents. And when my daughter got, I swear we get ready to move on. My daughter got out of college. You know, me and my husband, we just kind of disagreed a little bit on, you know, what was supposed to happen next. Now, she got out of college and she came home to a 6,000 square foot home, you know, lights, food, water, you know, her own bathroom, her own bedroom. I mean, cleaning service. Listen,
that's luxury.
That's what I got. And that's not what I got coming out of college or coming out of high school. That's what we worked for. Okay.
Right.
Now, you know, you as a child, you get to partake in that because you are my child. You are my responsibility. You're going to have what I have. I get it. However, you've grown now. So when you come back, and praise God, my daughter, she had a job 30 days in, at 30 days after college graduation, and she held the job for 15 years. She just left that job to pursue, you know, when she finished up her master's, and, you know, now she's doing just an amazing person. But I said she needs to pay $300 a month for rent.
Yeah.
And that's just practice. You're not getting, that's just practice. That is just my way of saying to you, as a grown woman, you know, as a grown person, you shouldn't expect to live in nobody's house for free. Now, if you can't pay us $300 for all of that you're getting, then you're not ready for this grown-up situation, because this is just practice. Yes. And I think that it was significant, and I think it just helped her be a grown-up. But let's go on. Let's go on. I asked you, did you write how much of that you wrote in Panama? Because one of the benefits of being in Panama that I've seen as a trend is creativity. Yes. People are able to expand. I've seen people come here and it's like, you know, playing instruments that they've never played before, you know, really tapping into their artistic talents, you know, like, gosh, I didn't know I could paint so well, and just doing different things. So do you find that Panama has affected your creativity at all?
It has given me the impetus to literally exhale. And when you can exhale, all of a sudden things become very, very clear for you. And all the things that people love to do as a passion, or if I have the time for it, I would love to do this, I should be doing this. Panama actually gives it to you. I felt like a release, an abandonment of all of the restrictions that I had before on my time, on my life. And when I came down here, my blood pressure went down. I mean, and then it continues to go down, because I wake up in the morning, I go, what am I going to do to make me, my family, my husband happy right now? And that's what takes that top priority. So it gives me the time. I mean, we still get up early. Man loves to get up early because we got to find out what's going on during the day. We have our time where we do our swimming, try to do it every day, except when it rains, but thank goodness for rain, because the canal needs it. Yes. And, you know, we then settle down into my office, which is where I am right now. And I have a list of things, you know, write another chapter in this book, you know, finish editing on this, look about this, what's going on with the YouTube. So it gives me that freedom that I didn't really think I didn't really have before. when I was trying to fight that hustle and bustle. It just it was there, but it was always interrupted with something.
Always. It's different practices that I am engaging in as well, just to really maximize some of the things that you just said. So you grew up in Philly?
Yes, I'm a Philly girl.
A Philly
Born
girl,
and
because
bred.
Jersey girl, okay?
Yeah, no, anybody across the river is also a Philly girl, because you had to come over to Philly in order to go the dance, the discos as we had back then, and because nothing was in Jersey. I'm sorry.
Remember the Spectrum?
Yes, of course. That's where I saw my first concert.
That was your first concert too?
First concert. My cousin took me. I don't even think we told my parents I was going. Come on, we're going. Where are we going? Don't worry about it. And I saw the Funkadelics. I saw Graham Central Station. Oh, I had so much fun. Didn't even know it existed.
Paula, that is so funny because I saw Heat Wave.
Oh.
And I can't remember who else was with them, but I just can remember mind-blowing decisions. And
yes.
That was my first real concert. And I had just met this cute guy, never found him again. Like since I've been grown up, he was such a handsome young man. And he had like a baby blue deuce and a quarter or something like that. And I met him like literally like a day before the concert. So he must have had a date that fell bad or something, because he was like, "You want to go see Heatwave tomorrow?" I'm like, yeah. And so he came, and I'll never forget. I'm glad my mom let me go. But baby, the whole family was sitting on the front steps. And the whole family was sitting, his name was Keith. And the whole family was sitting on the front step, and he came out. He was so polite. He introduced himself to my mother, and she said, "It's nice to meet you. Can I see your license, please?"
Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't write down his license plate number on the car. That's what they did.
He was from Woodbury or somewhere.
Okay.
And you know, I was from Glassboro. Okay, so girl, we just having too much fun. So you are a Philly girl.
Yes.
And when you grew up, and you're 67?
67. Yes, I am.
You are beautiful.
Oh,
there is nothing that says 67 in
this is part of Panama. This is part of Panama.
Wow.
Besides, my parents gave me some great genes. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I found that when I again was living in the United States, I felt so heavy, so much pressure that my skin wasn't reflective. You know, poor eating habits, the whole, 9 yards. Didn't eat right, always on the go.
The rest
didn't have time for didn't have time for myself, this, that, and the other. And in the 7 years since we have left the United States, people looked at me and they said, "You are aging backwards." I'm like, "What?" You are looking younger and younger. I'm like, huh. No, but it's true. It's because, well, first of all, the weather down here is fantastic. There's enough moisture in the air that will make anybody's skin wonderful. And I mean, even some people don't understand this. Black women need moisturizer too. We are not moisturizer free. We need to make sure our skin doesn't burn, because you can burn down here. I scared myself one day when I took my watch off and I realized, oh my God, was that that different. But once you do it, and then the food down here is so fresh.
Yeah.
The food is unbelievable down here. And, we would go over to, what is it? Marisca di Mercado and the fish market, get up early, see the fish literally still jumping before they say, "Is this the one you want?" Flop. Okay. But it's a combination of good food, good people down here, tranquil moments in life, and just exhaling. I love to exhale.
I love to sleep. And I think that, some of that too involves the fact that I think there's one thing to be born in a place, and then there's one thing to choose a place. Yes. So we were born in the United States, and it's just like being born into any other family. you know, whether I fool with my family or not, regardless, they are still my family. So
Yeah.
that's family. That's what God chose for me.
Yes.
But I think that when you get to the place in life where you can choose where you want to spend your life, and we are at a place now where, you know, maybe you know, embrace this sooner than a lot of the others, myself and other people listening. But that place, when we move from place to place, it doesn't have to be in the same country. And when
No.
you go to another country and experience all of these new things and experience the great weather. I mean, you talk about not being hurricanes in Panama. We could go just on and on about Panama, and I'm definitely here for it. I want to know how you got from the spectrum here, being
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Get how did you? What was your journey in a semi nutshell from
Mhm.
Philly to Panama? Take us down the road.
Okay. It's a long, short road. My husband and I had decided that number one, when we retired, and I don't like to use the word retired, you know, when we first were talking, I love what you say, rewiring ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, well, it's got to be someplace warm. I don't want to see snow again in my lifetime, except on a TV screen. I want the climate to be even keeled. I don't want it any cooler because I don't like cold weather. I want it to be consistent. And so we started off, believe it or not, in Baja California Sur. We went down to Los Cabos and thought, oh my goodness, this is heaven. This is nirvana. It's beautiful down here. You've got the beach, you've got the ocean. And we said, okay, let's move. We literally went down. I'll tell you, we went down in August on a vacation. By September the 3rd, we had already signed a rental agreement. I had already packed up the clothes that I was going to take with me, and we were on a plane.
So okay, so now some of us, including myself, little
Mhm.
geological
Oh,
geographically
geographically.
challenged. So tell me,
Cabo,
where's Cabos?
Cabo is literally at the tail end of California.
Okay.
So when you look at a map of the United States, you see how it comes up, and then you have Texas down there, and you have Mexico right here, and you'll see this little slither coming down. That is Baja California. And it was
Okay.
actually back to the Mexicans. So you have Baja California North, which is where you find like Tijuana, Escondida, all those places like that. Then you have Baja California Sur, which is south.
South.
So you have La Paz, you have Todos Santos, and at the very, and it literally, Cabo is the end of the world, so to speak, when it comes to the landmass. You can literally go to the very end of the landmass that technically is considered North America, and it's a tip, and it's right there.
So you said they gave it back to Mexico?
I believe, yes, they gave it back because when you look at the map, you will see that everything from Tijuana down is all belongs to Mexico.
Okay. So,
Yes.
but you still call it California?
It's called Baja California Sur. It is always called Baja California
Wow.
Sur. Yeah.
Okay. So it's is it like a Puerto Rico where it's like a it's like a different US experience where
It is a different US, yes.
so you feel like you're in a different environment, Caribbean or Latin.
Yes, definitely. You definitely feel like you're in a different environment. First and foremost, they don't use the American dollar, they use pesos.
Okay.
Yes. The culture is strictly Mexicano. So it is
Okay.
strictly Mexican culture. You will find that, particularly in Cabo, though, what we found out is that it's a tourist trap. It's not I shouldn't say trap, but it's a tourist place where you
Mhm.
see people come when it's cold on the East Coast, they're going to come to Cabo. It's a great destination wedding place where a lot of people have gone to get married. And you will have a very interesting kind of expat group that lives in Cabo, lived there for years.
Is it
So,
expensive? So is it expensive and is it warm all year round?
well, it's expensive and it's not warm all year round like we thought it was going to be in the beginning. And I think this also has to do with global warming, and that's a whole nother
Yeah.
conversation we could have. But when we first got down there, we were there in September. So it was very, very warm, very, I'd say in the high 80s. Was a lot of humidity back then. And for me, just let all women know, yes, you will go through menopause in the summertime. And so a fan was my friend for a long, long time. But we also found that starting in like January, February, and March, it was a little bit cooler than we had expected it to be. But still, we loved it. And on the same hand, it is also expensive. Your beautiful, beautiful places to live. They have communities growing up left and right from Cabo all the way over to San Jose del Cabo, and farther east people are going. But the farther they go, the more expensive it does become. And that got to be one of those things like, well, there's got to be someplace else where we can get more bang for our dollar.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what year was that?
That was around near the end of 2019. In fact, it was actually August of 2019 where my husband woke up and said, okay, we're going to move. And I'm like, okay, where are we going? I don't know yet, but we definitely are moving somewhere where we can do more. And I said, that's fine with me. Because again, like I said, I love Cabo. I would go back for a visit, but I can't see myself staying there because there's not enough activities to do. So research is always the key for everything. And he started doing this research, and what he found was Panama City was always in the top 3 of every search that he did. Okay. So started looking at the other 2. He says, now I don't want to live there. Definitely still have to be near a beach. And then he focused in on Panama. And then what he found was this hidden jewel, this hidden gem in plain sight.
Yes.
Literally in plain sight.
In plain sight.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was in August.
Did you stay in Cabo?
We were in Cabo for about 2.5 years. Almost 2.5 years. He said in August of 2019, we're moving. In October of 2019, we moved.
And where did you move from?
We moved from, at that point, we were living in San Jose del Cabo, which was literally right up the street, so to speak. So you have Cabo here, you have San Jose here. So we actually got on the plane, took our bags, moved. It was hysterical. I think between the 2 of us, we might have had 14 bags, and we couldn't get a direct flight. So we had to go into Texas, take all the bags off, get into a hotel, then get up the next morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning, get all the bags back, put them back on the plane. And I'm thinking to myself, this better be good. This is right now, because this is not working.
So, so y'all decided to do that. Now, I guess were you both already in the retirement age at that time?
Yes, we retired early, but again, like I say, I have also developed the phrase, I will totally retire when I close my eyes for the last time.
Yes.
Because there's still too much life left to live.
Yeah.
And, and because I don't know if it happened to you, but it happened to me, where I kind of looked up. Next thing I knew, I was like 50 some years old. I went, what happened? I kind of remember the 20s and I remember the 30s, the 40s, I'm not so sure about. Then myself, I'm like, dang, what's going on? So we were the kind of same. He's 2 years older than me. And he says, no, girl, we got to go. We're going. We have got to plot our own path.
Yes.
And God made that way so plain for us that we would constantly be kind of looking to our left or, looking to our right saying, okay, this got to be God because nobody else is going to make it this easy. So again, research. We were able to find a great realtor. They showed us a lot of different properties. We started to hone in because what my husband was looking for, number one, was convenience. He wanted someplace where there were lots of different restaurants around. He wanted to be an elevator right away from getting to anything Maine. He wanted to make sure our health, our medical was also taken care of. So we've got, as you know, Pacifica Salute is literally right up the street. It's a John Hopkins associate. We had a chance to go and look at all the credentials that all the doctors had, and we realized then this is it. So when we did the video tour of where we live, I was like, when do we leave? When can we go?
Okay, so you left from Cabo and
Yes.
to try came to try Panama.
Right.
Did you and you moved into the tell us what area you live in Panama City?
We live in the Punta Pacifica area, which
Okay.
is commonly known as like the financial district area.
Okay. So you live in the Punta Pacifica area and you have found things convenient there. There's healthcare there. That's places that you can go to that are close by. Um, I know that, the JW Marriott is there, and that's where I go to my Ocean Breeze, plug for Ocean Breeze Med Spa, the JW Marriott,
Yes.
the
Yes.
best, the
Yes.
best. So you came to that area. Did you explore any other areas first? Did you just know that that was the area that you wanted based on what you had saw, or what?
When we came here, and it's ironic that you're saying the JW Marriott because that's exactly where we live in the residence on top of the hotel.
Uh-huh.
It ticked off every single box that we were looking for.
Wow.
It was convenient. The mall was literally less than a half a mile away. It was a city, and this was something that I didn't think I was going to miss when I
Uh-huh.
moved out of the United States, but I actually realized I do miss being in a city environment.
Okay.
So we were absolutely happy about that. We were also happy about the fact that the cost of living was so much lower than it was in Cabo and San Jose, and even happier that the fact that they use the dollar.
Yeah.
So you can't really ask for anything better than that, because trying to translate everything into pesos or this the other.
Oh, that is one of
It was
the things on my list. I'm not really attracted to having I'm doing all that math. It's just a
no.
lot. It's just a lot, especially when people look at you and determine right off that you're a foreigner.
Yes.
The things get more expensive, and sometimes doing all the equations and this
Mm-hmm.
he say just give it to him. So yeah, that is the area that you live in is very nice. And I think it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It has like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of amenities. My realtor of choice is House Hunters Panama, and
Mm-hmm.
they are right there in that building, and they manage and sell a lot of those places that
Yes, they do.
and so it's very nice. We just had a lady. We take them over on our tour to that building to show
Mm-hmm.
others, to show them the art, I don't know, the cigar shop where
Oh,
President
yeah.
Obama is.
Yes. First thing
And
I took my picture with them.
I was
I did.
when you first moved in, I only realized it was there like sometime last year. And so
Oh,
now it's just like the thing. All Black expats in Panama groups go by there, and
yes.
people
Take their
saw the
picture.
video, so they go and they take pictures there now. But then we go down to the La Vespa,
Oh,
which is the Italian restaurant there, which is
yes.
delicious, and they have created that Black expats in Panama cocktail for us called the Sankofa. And so I treat the groups to that experience. And
Mm-hmm.
the one lady was like, it's not necessarily someplace that we take people to see houses, but
Mm-hmm.
people get over there and they say, I love this area. It's just like it's another area that they can see.
Yes.
And the last time that we were here, this lady, she had her heart set on another part of the city. And when we went for that part, she was like, I want to live here. So she actually got a place, leased a place at the ocean. So yep, so it's a very nice place to live. So you went from Cabo to that. Now, another thing that people will be asking is, or wondering, is about your home life. You know, your children. You have children. You have grandchildren. You know, how hard was it to make the decision to move away from them? And did your decision on where you wanted to live, how much of that relationship played a part in that decision? And what were some of the other places that you had thought you might like to consider?
Okay.
Now,
That's a
get all
lot. That's a mouthful. I should have taken notes. No, I think I remember. Well, my husband and I have a blended family, as we like to call it.
that.
I have
Okay.
my children, he has his children.
Mhm.
So together, the entire blended family is 7 kids.
Okay.
I had 3. He has 2 stepchildren and he has 2 biological children. So ironically, a lot of our children are kind of in different areas of the United States. At first, they were all basically on the East Coast. Then my daughter wound up moving to Kentucky a couple of years ago. So when we were moving, the one thing I can say, and I can say this proudly, since I truly am not a helicopter mom, their consideration as to where I moved didn't really factor into anything.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. It was like, well, first I heard, well, why are you leaving? And it was because I can.
Yeah.
Well, what about me? And I'm like, well, you're grown.
What
You have,
about you?
you're grown. You have your own job. You have your own
Right.
place. You don't even barely come to see me now. So why am I worried about where you are? Yeah. Well, what if I need to come see you? There's a plane. You could go by train. It could be longer, or you could drive, but I wouldn't do that either. So when we first moved, we were like, what is it that we want?
Yes.
And then the places that we actually started renting and looking at, we always made sure we had extra bedrooms for the
Mhm.
children when they
Yeah.
would come down. And then we started to realize they had their
They
own
don't
life.
come down.
They don't come down.
Yes.
I mean, we would have places with 4 and 5 bedrooms, and I'd walk in and I'm like, okay, there's dust in here because nobody been in this room.
Yes.
So that's when we started realizing how much room. No, we don't. And now I will say we do have dedicated children that will come no matter where we are. Our
Mhm.
sons are probably more dedicated than the daughters are, because they're like, well, look, I got my own life. I don't have time to be running around looking at you. I'm like, fine. But what we have found is, again, being here in Panama gave us options,
Mhm.
because we love where we are. We have a 3-bedroom condo, which we've kind of taken down to a 2-bedroom condo because we used the 3rd bedroom for our office.
Office.
You know, kicked out the beds that were in here and just started from scratch. Made everything basically was made by hand, which we
Okay.
absolutely adore.
Yes.
2nd bedroom, as we kindly tell our children, probably sometime in 2025 will no longer exist. It's going to be something else. So if you want to come down and see us and you don't want to have to pay for a hotel room, yeah, best come soon. But even then, we've learned we can't worry about other people. We have to make sure we're okay first.
Yes.
And anybody else is fine. So, and that's
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's why, we have now had more of our children come down. And we also were able to, since we're in the city, and it's beautiful here because from our apartment, we can see the city
Oh,
life,
the views.
Panama Bay, as well
Oh,
as the Pacific Ocean. Every room I go into has a different view. And that
yes.
automatically was hands down one of the best things I could ever see. And at night, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's beautiful. But we kind of missed a little bit of really having a beach life. Next thing we knew, we heard about this place called Buenaventura.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of nice. Well, between that and COVID, because when COVID happened, nothing moved.
Yes.
That was down here. And then finally, when things started to come together, we said to ourselves, we really are going to have to, go out and look at Buenaventura. We went out there and my blood pressure lowered even more. I was
Now,
like,
where is Buenaventura
Buenaventura is
compared
about
to
an hour and a half um, northwest. It's on the Pacific side.
Okay.
So you go to places like Costa del Verde, Chamay.
Uh-huh.
um,
Is it as far as Coronado?
Actually, it's 30 minutes past Coronado.
Okay.
And
So
we
it's
had known
past San
friends.
Carlos. It's a straight
Yes.
path, straight path.
It's a
Okay.
straight path down there. And
Okay.
literally when you get to, beautiful hotel, spa, golf course with residences out there as well. And you
Yes.
walk in, and again, it's like a little niche of a paradise of
Yeah.
heaven. And they treat you like family. They
Wow.
say, mi casa, su casa, my house is your house, mi familia, su familia, my family is your family. And
Yeah.
that's how they treat you. They treat you like family. So we now spend a couple weeks in the city because we have lots of things that we're doing. We take
Yes.
our laptops, we go out to the beach, and I think we're more active out there than we are in the city because, again, we're up, constantly moving, constantly doing the exercising, staying hours at the beach complex because you've got sand, you've got ocean, you've got pool, you've got outlets. So a Zoom call is fun.
Yes.
Conference call is fantastic. People look at you, go, "Oh, where are you? You really want to see?" And you turn around, they go, "We hate you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You
We're
too can have this life."
considering yeah, we are considering a place at the beach too. Um,
Yes.
and I think it would be really cool to just be able to, we were at Playa Bonita. I take groups there sometime.
Yes.
I love that resort. And
Yes.
I told Alfredo, I said, the last time we were there, I said, I need to come here once a month, just once a month on the weekends, just to, decompress. I'm not a beach girl. I'm not a beach
Okay.
girl. I'm not a wilderness girl, but I'm not going to get in the water, but I love being able to see it and to hear it and that whole
Yes.
environment. I absolutely love it. I don't want to live there every day. You
No.
know, it's not what I want.
Right.
But it is nice to be able to have the best of both worlds in
And
that.
that's what it is.
Right. So we live in the suburbs of Panama. We live in Brices de Golf Norte, which is a straight up,
Mhm.
it's not a city, it is straight up suburbs, but it's right off of the highway and very much overlooked at this point because I'm telling you, if you haven't been out here in a while, you would be absolutely amazed at what is going on out here, quiet as it's kept. It is like shopping center after shopping center, development after development coming up here. We are 15 minutes from the airport and 15 minutes from Panama City. And
You
that's
can't beat that.
can't beat it, baby. And I love it.
Cannot beat
We've been here
that.
for 12 years. We've been here for 12 years. So we have the suburbs, we have an office in the city,
Mhm.
uh, which I'm getting to know the barrio section a little bit better.
Yes.
Making
Nice section.
some friends there. And then I want to be able to have the beach option too.
Mhm.
So I definitely get that. One more thing I want to say before I shut up is that, one of the things that we talk about, and I so am with you when it comes to your kids and you doing things that serve yourself. We don't have to apologize for that. And that's just
No.
kind of where I am. I don't have to apologize for that. There's no need for me to pay for and hold space for things that may or may not happen. The space that I have, I need to use it and let it be productive, positive space for us on a daily basis. The
Yes.
only thing that I want to add to that is legacy. And I think it's something that we don't really talk about a lot. And I think I'm so proud of us as Black people making options, taking the options and making choices about where we want to live, how we want our lives to look. That's what you're doing. You are
Yes.
constructing the life and living the life that you want to live. And I think that we are embracing that so that we sometimes lose sight of just how freaking awesome it is that we're doing what we're doing. This is not what most of our parents and grandparents and great grandparents for sure did. So we are pioneers, okay? And we are creating legacy. So when our kids come here, and mainly my grandkids, I want my grandkids to know the life that Nana and Papa are living. And I want
Mhm.
when they go on a relocation tour to not be afraid of or unfamiliar with an international investment opportunity, because that's what we're overcoming right now, but we're overcoming it. And so I just want to say that it creates a legacy, and it's so good for us to show the world and mainly our kids that this is possible.
Yes, I can't disagree at all. The one thing that I love being out here, and I was fortunate enough when I had my careers and I was doing the 9 to 5 to travel extensively internationally. And it opened up my eyes to different cultures, different people, different policies on how this works, that doesn't work. And it made me a better global human being. Because one
Yes.
thing that people tend to forget is, well, I'm from the United States, or I'm from Panama, or I'm from Spain, or I'm from China. Doesn't matter. You are a global citizen of this
Yeah.
world, period. End of story. And in order to understand somebody else, you may need to literally go and see how things are done. How things are done in another country. What are the policies for this? Will I be accepted? And that's the other thing that we loved being down here, was the fact that we were immediately accepted. It was never well, who are you? Where do you come from? You look different. It was, I'm so happy you're here. Let me show you my house. Let me show you my country. I think you're going to love it. And that type of welcoming, open arms has made it so wonderful that we're constantly telling people that we meet, oh, you're thinking about coming down? Move. These are the reasons why.
Yes.
Because, and it's really good for us because a lot of us don't want to leave the United States. And I'm not exactly sure why. I kind of look at it as, if you have an opportunity at any age to take a trip outside of the United States, to visit another country, another continent, to see what is going on, all it's going to do is expand your horizons and determine then where you want to be. Some people are very happy in the United States, and that's fine, but at least they have a choice.
Well, I think that what I think about that is that the United States has done a very good job of convincing us that that this is the good plantation,
Yes,
and
yes.
that you're not going to go anywhere and get anything better than this, because the US is number one, baby. And I think that they've done very well at convincing us of that, and they've also done very well of convincing a lot of other people in the world of
Yeah,
that. So a lot of people look at us and be like, why would you leave the United States? However, comma, the thing that I would add to that is, when you are traveling as an individual who is there for work, or you're traveling as an individual that is there for play, vacation, tourism, it is a total different experience than looking at a place for relocation possibilities.
true.
And so you will have some people who have gone ahead and said, okay, I'm going to get my passport and I will travel. And I have seen other parts of the world, but never, when they get to those places, do they think beyond, this is a cool place to get away to. This is a great place. They have zip lining, they have beaches, they have this and that, and they think about the tourism part. But when you travel to places with your mind saying, okay, I'm going to have a good time when I'm here, but I'd really like to explore, what does it mean to live here? I'd really like to connect with maybe people who already live here that can, like me, that can tell me what it's like. I think that's the part that gets missed. And even though people travel, sometimes they never look at other countries as other options.
Absolutely correct. Again, because everything that you said, the tourism aspect of it, it's fantastic. But some people don't go beyond that. Some people, and I think that was one of the things that we saw when we were in Cabo for 2.5 years.
Mhm.
We saw the tourism, we saw the people, we saw the nice places to go to. And we said, oh, yeah, this is great. But we didn't take into consideration, how would this be every single day? How's this going to be week after week, month after month? And when you realize there are only 2 good sushi restaurants in Cabo, and they both happen to know who you are, And they also know what you probably want to eat. It's time to go. It's time to go, because you're not learning anything new. You're not, using your creative juices. And that's the other thing here in Panama. Even though we've been here since 2019, there is so much of Panama that we still have yet to explore.
Yes.
Haven't even been out yet to
Focus.
Yes, Focus. Haven't been. Want to
Focus.
go.
I've not been to Focus. And I'm embarrassed. I need to make that time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not retired. I thought I was retired, but it turns out I started a second, like you said, I started a second life. And I love it. So that's what matters. But I've not been to Focus. You're absolutely right.
There's
Finally
so many
got to
places. I haven't been to Buquete yet. I mean, literally, I think the farthest, I hate to say this, the farthest that we've been outside of Panama City is to Buenaventura, actually to Panama, which is about 35 more miles past where Buenaventura is. But still, there are so many other places. And we were thinking about trying to do it this year, but we've decided that next year is the year that we're going to literally take our overnight bags and start to just do getaway trips, just to see everything else that's here. But I'm
going to purpose to do more in like October, November. October, November, I don't really do tours here in Panama. That is the time when I can really, take some time to get away there. So, okay, that's wonderful. I thank you for your insight. How's your Spanish, by the way?
Un poquito, mucho necesita, mucho práctico. However, I can read a lot because I'm using Google Text and Google Translate all the time. I can actually read more than I can speak. And I think sometimes I'm afraid to, because I'm not speaking as fast as other people. So I always have to tell them when they start to speak, I'm like,
lento, por favor. That's what I say. Lento, por favor.
Yes. It's
getting there. You just can't hear because they speak so quickly.
Yes.
And so it's a process.
It is a process, but it's every year it does get better. So I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very happy about that. I expect in a couple of years I should be able to do conversational Spanish.
Yes.
I can order anything. As long as I can see it on a piece of paper, I can order anything.
It'll come. Yeah, I can order some food, baby.
Yeah. Oh Lord, let's not talk about that.
Look, I am completely proficient in ordering the food, the comida.
Oh, and I have to thank you for your expats in Panama, because we're always constantly following you on Facebook. And when I saw that cheesesteak, I went, what? Ooh, at Unami Bodega. Oh my goodness.
Baby, I've been craving that lately. We need to go together. I haven't been able to get over there, but that cheesesteak is everything. Almost as good as my husband made it.
They deliver.
Yes, they really did. And their food is pretty good. It's a very interesting, eclectic kind of,
yes, because it's also, they do like karaoke there. It's a little, it's just
bands. They do
everything that you can think of. Yes.
They do. I mean, what's so wonderful about being in the city or near the city is that there's everything to do. I mean, there is literally zip lining in the city. When they zip line over, they say it's like 2 seconds. But I watch them do it from the restaurant, from that rooftop.
Yes.
And we've gone over, I think that's the Sands where they do that, but just so much variety. So tell me this. You have, there's a couple of things I want to definitely touch on. And number one is business, and the business that you do or want to do here in Panama. What that is like. And then the other thing is how you handle your residency. Do you still keep a residency in the United States? And how did you make a decision one way or the other? And how long were you in Panama before you made that decision?
Well, here's the thing. We had actually made that decision before we even left the United States.
Okay.
Because my parents have passed away, and my husband's mother, God bless her, come October, she will be 97 years old.
Wow.
but she was always to a point where she was extremely independent. So he even told her when he came back to make sure she was fine, look, I'm not staying, I'm got my life to live, and we want to see what it's like to live outside the United States. So I had already been in the process of selling my house. My youngest son hates me for that, probably to the day that I pass away. But I always said to him, it wasn't your house, and you got your own house. Why are you worried about where the house? But I grew up there. That's fine. Grow up, get out. And he did. So, it was relatively easy for us. Now, I will say a couple of years ago, we did wind up having to put her into an assisted living facility, but thank God for technology. We talk to her every day. He talks to her 3 times a day. We FaceTime, and we go up at least twice a year for his birthday and for her birthday. And she's fine. Because we
Thank
told her,
God
look,
for
you can move
technology.
down here. She says, no, I'm not moving. I'm like, okay, fine. So that wasn't a hard decision for us at all, because it was done. Every now and then we still think about, well, maybe should we, have something in the Philadelphia area, just in case. And it's always still looming out there that we may want to do it. But at this point, I don't really see the need or the necessity for it. And as far as business is concerned here, I am, because of the poetry book that I wrote, there's a section in the end of it where I ask people to try to choose their road less traveled, try to literally go down the path that isn't worn, that has some ups and downs to it, but it's a path that's beckoning you to at least try. Nobody said you had to succeed, but you're always going to fail if you don't try. And if you try, you just don't know what's going to happen. And from that, it's kind of begin a domino effect for me, where, keeping my fingers crossed, by the end of the year, I will be launching a podcast called Your Road Less Traveled. I already have a YouTube channel called Your Road Less Traveled, where I'm trying to take all the experiences that I've had, whether it's pictures, whether it's videos, because my husband and I are foodies. I mean, we'll go anywhere for a great meal. And we've had a lot of great meals in Panama, all over. And so I'm beginning to edit them. So if you know of any editors out there, please contact me, because that's the only thing that drives me crazy, is I'm literally trying to edit videotape, edit audio, make up music, put together the last touches on some more poetry I want to add to the book, but it keeps me busy. So between doing that, and I want to interview people who have taken that alternative route. So you will be on my podcast. Don't think you're not going to be on my podcast. You will be there, because these are the people we should be known as, the trailblazers. You said, like, leaving a legacy. We are the people that are opening up the doors for other men, women like ourselves, who are sitting there going, God, I really wish I could. We're the ones out there saying, you really can do it. It's not as hard as you think it is, and you can do baby steps. Decide to gather up your vacation time, tell your boss, listen, I'm going to work a little bit, because the digital nomad visa is here.
Yes.
Find someplace, do something different, make it interesting. And again, if you don't like it, you can now say, I tried it. It's not for me.
I tried it.
I tried it. Because if you don't try, as Nike says, just do it, you're always going to be sitting back wishing you had.
People will say, talking about the location, as far as Panama, I think for me, and then, like for you and your husband, like his mother is still living, it's not that difficult to get from Panama to Philly. You know what I'm saying? It's like easier sometimes to go from Panama to a US state than it is for us to go within the country. It might be easier for you to go from, because Texas, you going to Texas, you going to California, it take longer sometimes, on those flights. For that reason, Africa is not a consideration for me. I am going to visit. I visited Egypt. I've taken a group there. I'm taking 2 groups to Ghana next October and November. And, there might be some people that want to stay there, and I would like to incorporate some relocation information for them, while we're there, if they're interested. However, comment, that's not for me. And I already know that, because it's not only being away from my family, but it's the fact that I'm 60. And we always say, well, I don't want to be too far from the family in case I got to get back and forth. Girl, look, your family may need to be coming for your old tail. Okay. And that's that part, and so I want to be convenient, like you said, like when your son talk about the house, baby, that's my house. You might have people in your family who are raising families at this moment, who, their finances may not be set up in a way that they can just fly out to Africa because mom needs help.
Right.
That's a trip, baby. But
that is more than a trip.
they can get to Panama. They can
Yes.
get to Panama. They can come and see about you in Panama. So I think that's another really good benefit of being here. And as we close, I really, you've been here, you've taken your journey, you've looked at other things and talking about people starting their journey. Sometimes just starting your journey is, let's just back it up. Let's keep it real plain. You need a passport. Okay. If you ain't got a passport, you're not ready for the conversation, because that is the bare sub-zero minimum that has to happen if you even thinking about, moving. You have that passport. If you don't have
get it,
serious. You're not seriously considering this.
No, and that's very true, because in a lot of countries, children have passports. It's like mandatory. You have to have a passport. In the United States, it's not so mandatory. Now, I will say they're trying to get a little bit better with the, like the driver license ID passport types, that you can do that, but you can't take it out of the United States. So that's nice, but that's not going to help. And people will we have friends of ours say, we're going to come visit you. First thing we say is, well, you have a passport? No, you don't have a passport. So before you even tell me you're going to visit me, I want to see the passport first.
You're going to need a passport.
Once you get through that hurdle, then let's talk. One
thing about leaving the country, one thing that your family and your friends need to understand, that our ability to get together and hug one another is going to be absolutely predicated on us having passports.
Yes.
I got mine because I'm out of the country. If you plan to come over here and give me a hug, you
better get one.
You need a passport. Other than that, you're going to have to wait till I get around to coming back to give you one.
Right.
And that's just a new requirement of being in a relationship now that you have an international friend. And I also don't want to limit people on having one. We can have more than one. I'm ready to get addicted to residencies. And the one in Panama is very, very, very straightforward.
Yes.
And not that hard to get, and not that strict, because I think in Mexico they have a lot more stricter requirements. One more thing I want to say is that having a residence in Panama is not being a citizen. Citizenship and
there is a difference,
are two different things. So Paula is still a citizen of the United States. She is a permanent resident here in Panama. And that's my same situation too. And I do have residence in both places as well. But I just think that for some people, Paula, you maybe not as much as I, but breaking that cord,
yoke, the yoke.
Yes, yes, really. But it's like all that you've known. You know what I mean? A lot of us, it's home. And I think that for me, one of the things that was so significant is sometimes trying to do things in Panama with a US credential, or trying to do things in the US with a Panama
Panamanian.
the fields ain't working right. That scares me. You know, that is always the thing that it was like, you know, this is not like being in, you know, Puerto Rico. I think that when you went to Cabo, it was a great exercise of leaving the country
Yes.
without quite leaving the country. Like people, you know, go to Puerto Rico. If you don't have, if you haven't traveled internationally yet, you can go to Puerto Rico and get a flavor, you know, that
Yes.
you're not going to get in most US states, but still
That's
don't
true.
have to have a passport. But if you go to Puerto Rico, you'll be like, I want to go further. And you'll need a passport for that.
That is very true. That is very true.
So as we close up, I've enjoyed this so much. I just want you, from your experience, to um, tell us. First of all, your YouTube channel is your road less travel.
It's your road less travel. It's
It's
you are.
exactly. I want to say that it's used for
It's
those that are
you
looking
are
at
underscore road underscore less underscore traveled.
right.
And I'm thinking about changing it just to the letters. But again, it's baby steps for me right now.
Okay.
It's extreme baby steps, but I can be reached there. I'm on Instagram as your road less traveled. I do have Twitter, X Twitter. Yeah, whatever. It's fully based. I have that. And I mean, the one thing I think everyone should know
Mhm.
is that, and this is funny. I always say this, people say I'm corny, and I'm like, that's fine. I am a nerd. I will always go back to using soap operas where I would say, you only have one life to live.
Uh-huh.
You may have all of your children, but they're grown, and you just don't want to end up in general hospital by yourself. On that note, you need to.
That was pretty awesome. But I think that you did touch on a few things as we talked anyway about making a relocation is getting the information, being willing
Information.
to step outside of your comfort zone, you
Yes.
know, connecting with legitimate people and resources and trying new things.
It is. It's just like, when you get tired or something, you say, I want to try something different. The first thing you should do before you try anything, research it, find out. It may be something that may look good, but you may not actually want to do it. And knowledge is always king. It is always the
Always.
primary thing that you have to think about.
Mhm.
Get your facts together. And that's why I tell people, if they're interested, I say, first thing you need to do is, if you're on Facebook, join Black Expats in Facebook, in Panama. There are other ones in other countries, in Mexico, in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, any of the places you want to go. I would, even when we were shut down for COVID, we loved looking at a lot of the A&E channels where they had the travel channels where you could
Yeah.
literally see what's going on in different countries, because it gives you then a sense of, oh, okay, I didn't know they could do that over there. Or, oh,
Right.
I wasn't sure about that. And then the most important thing you have to find out, number one, is if you can afford to live out of the country. Because
Yes.
a lot of people have certain ideas of what they want, and it might not suit their pocketbooks
Mhm.
as to what they want. So again, research, talk to people that live out of the country. They will help you to allay a lot of your fears. It really does help. It really does help.
Mhm. There's a lot of information out here that's available, and you can make informed decisions. I mean,
Yes.
you have to discriminate on the information that you receive and accept. However, karma, you can do that. At least it's
Yes.
there. At least the information is there. So
Yes.
listen, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for
You're
being
quite
on the show.
welcome.
So we got to get together for a cheesesteak because
Yes.
we know a good cheesesteak. That's why you was like, what?
When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I opened the picture up and I started doing this. Oh my God, it looks like it is a real cheesesteak.
It's a real
Have
cheesesteak.
mercy.
It's a real cheesesteak. And
It is.
that one of the little casinos across from Torres de Alba, they got the best wings I've had in Panama.
Really.
I'm just saying. The
All
customer
right.
service is terrible. However, karma, sometimes I just bite the bullet because them wings is
If the
good.
wings are worth it, do it.
Listen, thank you for being on the show. I will talk to you later.
Yes, girl, you take care, all right?
Thank you, sweetie. Okay, so I know. That conversation was all over the place. And I just love it when we can have conversations and just to show that, I mean, it's not anything rehearsed, we just getting on here and we just telling our stories and we're just being transparent and also letting you know that, like me and her, like me and Paula, we have never actually met. She's been in the group and we've touched base a couple of times, a couple of years ago, a few times. But we've never actually met until today in a face-to-face situation. And we don't have a Philly cheesesteak over there to mommy. But just a beautiful thing to be able to connect with your brothers and sisters in a place where we can just have a different perspective on the life that we're living. And we just want to share that with you. Just regular folk out here, y'all, doing the thing. Don't think that you cannot do it. Take the steps that she talked about. Get yourself smart. Just start thinking yourself, if you could live anywhere that you wanted to, what would that look like? A lot of people think about Panama because we don't have hurricanes here. A lot of people dock their boats here because we don't have hurricanes here. So that's a big thing, to have beautiful weather and not have to worry about hunkering down and shuttering your house constantly because of the threat of hurricanes and things like that. That is a plus. The weather, the people, the opportunities, y'all. Get your passport, get your passport. Yeah, get your passport, y'all. Please do get your passport. Okay, get your passport and get your passport now. Don't get your passport tomorrow. Just really, literally, once you click off of however you're viewing this or listening to this, look at getting your passport. Do it. Don't wait. Do it. Then let's decide what you want to do. Okay. When she talks about the things that you should do in planning, always don't let the smooth taste fool you. You might have some people that can go to another country and decide, I can live here. They may be able to connect with resources and connect with people and get it done. But first of all, you don't know what you're not getting. When you don't go through a professional service like Black Expats in Panama Cultural Relocation Tour, it's not even a shameless plug. I believe in it. I've seen enough people. We've had hundreds of people come through our tour, people that have already been to Panama come through our tour, and it's just not the same. And you need to know that you are with someone who is going to be responsible for you having this positive experience. To be responsible for, all you need to do is have your tail in the lobby at 8 o'clock to roll out with us every day, because we got everything else planned for you. Okay, all you have to do is be here. All of the informations, all of the professionals, other Black expats who are already here sharing their experience, the other people who are on the tour with you who have questions that maybe you didn't think of. It's just so much layers to it. And in order to make the best informed decisions, do yourself that favor. So, of course, Black Expats in Panama Cultural Relocation Tour is an amazing relocation experience. And also the whole cultural component is what makes us super, 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 super special. Okay. So you definitely want to educate yourself properly before you do things. That's going to be the biggest thing. I gotta get out of here. I am over as usual. But it was good having Miss Paula on the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Follow us everywhere at Black Expats in Panama. Stay tuned for our New Year's Eve announcement. We're going to have a New Year's Eve celebration on the boat again. And then also we got Ghana coming up. We have sold out of our first Ghana tour that takes place in October 2025. Is sold out, but we added another one, Ghana 2, that takes place in November of 2025. Same trip. I'm going on both. We had to add that second tour for you guys. And with doing that, We have about 10 tickets left on the second one. So if you're interested, please do connect with us on BLACKEXPATSINPANAMA.net. As always, I want to thank Devin and Riley and Janetta for just, creating Black Sit Radio and giving us the opportunity to put our voices in the world. Always give a shout out to my main man, Daryl Spears at Beat Conversations Podcast Media for just putting this all together for me. And again, for being my mentor and, teaching me about podcasting so many years ago. I've consistently done it. It's hard to believe that I have done that. Congratulations to Black Sit Radio for the 3rd year anniversary. We just hit 3 years, looking to grow this into, something even more amazing. They are asking for donations. If you'd like to contribute to the station in order to help them move it forward and maybe, never know, take it into an FM situation. We've done 3 years on the shoestring. And guess what? We get ready to take it up another notch. I'm so proud to have been there from the very beginning. Listen, I'm going to leave you with What's Love Got to Do with It, which is one of Miss Paula's favorite tunes from the 70s or 80s. And with that said, I love you. I love you. I love you. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Peace, 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 and love, y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.